Welcome back to BaldHeaded Reactions, guys. My name is Joseph. We're doing another Lovebites reaction. It's been a long break since we've done one. It's going to be for the song Under the Red Sky, live version of it. And it's going to be interesting to see because I like the last song, and Under the Red Sky reminds me of that Judas Priest song. I'm trying to remember what was the name of it. Was it Judas Priest or Accept? I'm trying to remember. But anywho, we'll get into the reaction, see what I think about it. This sounds so old school. Automatically, it reminds me of just that new wave of British heavy metal. It just sounds so good. And just, I love her shredding. I kind of always point out that she's my favorite part of the band every single time. And nothing has changed yet. And I really like the drummer, kind of her energy. You know, there's like, I believe Lovebites is a very, I mean, obviously they're Japanese, but they have a very Japanese sound to their music, despite being inspired by all this traditional metal and power metal. And I would say leaning into heavy modern power metal bands, kind of the way they sound. And the voice and the singing, and like there was like a point in time in the song, it felt like it was like a intro to an anime almost, you know? I mean, it sounds cool. Let's continue. Let's see here what we got here. Yeah, I don't think this is particularly my type of power traditional metal style that I like. But what I'm enjoying, objectively speaking, what I'm enjoying is the various progressions in the song. Is, you know, despite the fact that they have like this obvious riffs that they repeat, obviously, because they, you know, they have this kind of addictive nature to them. They keep progressing the song to something different, something more interesting. But I don't think I personally would listen to this more than now. Let's continue. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think the song has like almost a symphonic approach to it. Like, I can't put my finger on it, what's different about it. I know the reason why I don't like it. For example, and when I say I don't like it, it's just for me. Like, I don't like it for me. I can totally see why people enjoy this band as I listen to it more and more. And I can see where the appeal comes from. I've always just personally enjoyed more something that's has a thrashier sound, or their guitar tones sound a little bit more like they have a little bit more oomph to it. Something like Accept, or you know, Judas Priest, something like Mystic Prophecy. That's the type of stuff I usually tend to like. What I was listening to actually today on my run, Angeles Apatrida, which is like a Spanish band. It's like a thrash power metal band there. For me, like this is a little bit more like, it has like this epic, right? Like this epic feel to it. It feels a little bit too epic, and it's hard for me to grasp onto, because I tend to like more raw, unrefined sounds, and they're very technically proficient, this band. You can tell they probably all of them are classically trained musicians. I know she's classically trained, and yeah, it's one of those moments in time when you're listening to music where on a logical level you absolutely understand why something is good, but on the level of just intuition and emotion, you're not responding to it. I think this is going to be just one of those examples. I don't know why I did like the previous song. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna be happening for the rest of the song, but yeah, there's like pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, the rest of the song is kind of done. You know what this reminds me of? This is one of those examples, and I know a lot of people when I say this, they look and be like, "What? You don't like this guy?" I don't like Yngwie Malmsteen. Um, I think he's been called the greatest, if not one of the greatest guitar players of all time. And no matter how much I try, I just do not like his music. I think he's absolutely worthy of the title as one of the greatest guitarists of all time, and I think he's absolutely phenomenal. There's no denying it. But for me, he is like borderline mechanical in how technically proficient he is, where he tends to forget the chunkier kind of like more emotional style of playing guitar, at least from what I've heard from him. I don't think that's necessarily the case with Lovebites. I think they do have the emotional aspect to it, but they tend to go for that neoclassical, extremely proficient style, which I don't know why. I've never got to enjoy it. Even the ones that have that style, like Symphony X, or the ones that comes to mind, even Nightwish, they kind of mix it up in the same song where they'll be very neoclassical into more heavy and power chord heavy and kind of like very bombastic. I think that's why I like the previous song. It had that bombastic feel to it, whereas this was a completely different song that I just kind of didn't expect it to be. There is another song I do want to react to from them this week, which is going to be Wings of Transylvania. Just because once I saw Transylvania and knowing that it's somehow about Dracula, I had to react to it. I have to see what it's going to be all about. But as I'm listening to more and more of them, and despite all the criticisms I've ever given to this band, I totally see why people like them. I get it. I understand. I still don't necessarily agree with this notion that they are the greatest band that ever lived, because even the bands that I like, for example, like Iced Earth, I don't think Iced Earth is one of the greatest bands that ever lived. I think they are one of the better power thrash metal bands out there for sure, and they kind of helped innovate the genre for sure. But to put them in a top 10 list of all-time most influential bands, I think that's too high of a praise for Iced Earth. I'll put like Black Sabbath in there. I'll put Judas Priest in there. I'll put like other bands I'll kind of have to think about and put down the list. But Iron Maiden, of course, Slayer, Metallica. Like these bands that kind of innovated different genres in heavy metal. Despite how much I think Iced Earth might be my either first or second favorite band of all time. So that's just kind of a perspective on how I approach on analyzing different kinds of music. And hopefully, guys, you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to subscribe down below for more. And you have a counter argument or a different point of view, I would love to hear it down in the comments. As long as we keep it civil, guys, there's no attacking people here, we can have a back and forth. If somebody wants to jump on even a podcast to talk about it, I'd be more than willing to do it. We can talk about different bands or the particular reason why you like Lovebites. Just throwing an idea out there. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your day and keep it metal, guys.